Welcome to the new story, The Wise Old Man and the Three Tricksters. Once upon a time, near the city of Baghdad, there lived an old potter in a small village. He was well known for his good character, honesty, and sharp mind. The potter's son had now grown into a young man. One day he said to his father, "Father, I want you to find a bride for me and get me married." The father gently replied, "Son, I don't have enough wealth to arrange your marriage right away. But do one thing. At dawn, take this buffalo to the city and sell it. If you manage to sell it at a good price, I will believe you are capable of starting your own household, and with that money, I'll arrange your marriage." The potter's son was very pleased and left the next morning with the buffalo. In the city, there lived a gang of clever tricksters who made a living by deceiving people and swindling their belongings. When the young man reached a well-known marketplace crossroads with the buffalo, he looked around. Suddenly, a man hurried up to him and asked, "Sir, how much do you want for the goat?" The potter's son laughed and said, "You must be a fool. You don't even know the difference between a goat and a buffalo. This is a buffalo, and I will sell it for 50 dinars. The man shrugged and said, "All right, then there's no deal between us. You're asking too much. But if others are willing to buy your weak goat for 50 dinars, I swear I'd give you 60. The boy walked ahead with the buffalo. Soon, another man, also part of the same gang, approached and asked, "Hey boy, what's the price of this goat?" One after another, several people came, each calling the animal a goat and asking how much he wanted for it. Eventually, the naive young man began to doubt himself. Is this really a buffalo or a goat? Finally, he asked one of them, "How much will you give for it?" The con man said kindly, "Your goat is quite weak, but since you're from a village and new to the city, I'll help you out. I'll give you 6 dinars. "I'll give 7, said another. Then a third man offered 10 dinars. The boy accepted the 10 dinars, and the trickster took away the buffalo, still calling it a goat. "Poor thing, looks like she's starving for ages. Come on, I'll feed you something," the man said mockingly. After selling the buffalo, the potter's son went to the market and spent 5 dinars on various items. He was hungry too, so he spent 2 dinars on food and returned to his father. When he reached home, the father's first question was about the journey. "Did you sell the buffalo?" The son replied, "I swear by you, you gave me a goat instead of a buffalo." The old potter asked, "What do you mean?" The son told him how different people came one by one and called it a goat, and he ended up selling it for 10 dinars. "And father, I even bought a necklace for my future bride." The father said, "Keep that necklace aside for now because you're still not wise enough. Anyway, those tricksters cheated you, but I know them well. Don't worry. I'll make sure they get a taste of their own medicine." The old potter had a donkey he used to load his pottery and sell it in the city. He decided to respond to the tricksters in their own cunning way. He rode his donkey and went to a wealthy man, saying, "I need a favor from you. If you could kindly lend me 10 dinars, I'll mortgage my nearby land to you." After finalizing the deal, he took 10 dinars and headed toward the city. He went straight to the place where the gang of tricksters usually sat. The 3 crooks were sitting there, probably plotting whom to fool next. When they saw the potter and his skinny donkey, they whispered among themselves, "That donkey looks strong and healthy. We must find a way to get it." Meanwhile, the old potter was gently stroking the donkey's back. He said to the men, "Kind sirs, I have a request. Could you spare a little grass for my donkey? We have a long journey ahead, and there won't be any fodder on the way." Quietly, he slipped the 10 dinars into the donkey's mouth. The tricksters quickly brought grass and water. As the donkey saw the fodder, it started jumping with excitement. And with that, the coins dropped from its mouth to the ground. The potter picked up the coins and put them into his pocket, then lightly kicked the donkey and scolded it. "Why were you late in giving me the coins today? There were thousands of things in the market I wanted to take back to the village, and you acted lazy." The tricksters looked at one another and whispered, "This donkey is special. We could profit a lot from it." They said to the potter, "Whatever things you wish to buy, we'll give them to you, but in exchange for this donkey." With emotion, the potter replied, "I've toiled all my life, making pots by the furnace until old age, yet I couldn't save anything. Now, this donkey provides me with wealth. It is like a treasure to me, bringing harvest without labor." The tricksters gave him 1,000 dinars and bought the donkey. Once the deal was done, the potter said, "One piece of advice: keep the donkey in a closed room without air. Place a pot full of sweet potatoes, 5 guavas, and a jar of water beside him. Keep the door shut for 30 days. On the 30th day, when you open the door, you'll find nothing but dinars." They did as he said. But when the 30th day arrived, the door had become so heavy it wouldn't budge. Excited, they said, "The donkey must have produced so much treasure, the room's full." After much effort, they opened the door and saw the donkey dead. There were no dinars, nothing at all. The donkey had eaten everything and drank all the water, then died from bloating. They screamed, "We'll bury this old potter alive." But the potter had anticipated their return. He found 2 identical foxes, tied one near the door and the other near a hut. Then he told his wife, "Today we'll have 2 guests. Prepare everything for 3. 3 plates, 3 bowls, 3 glasses. And when I ask how you knew guests were coming, just say the fox at the door brought the message." Soon the tricksters arrived at the potter's house, fuming with anger. But when they saw the small fox tied outside, they grew suspicious. The potter said, "Come, let's go to my house." They replied, "We don't want to be a burden." The potter smiled, "Oh, please, guests are never a burden." He then untied the fox and said, "Go tell my wife that 2 guests have come and she must prepare food." The fox ran off across the fields. When they reached the house, everything was ready: the food, the utensils, and the same fox tied at the door. The potter asked his wife, "How did you know guests were coming?" She replied, "The fox brought the message." The tricksters looked at one another in awe. "This fox is truly amazing," they whispered. "We didn't come for revenge about the donkey. We came to buy this fox," they said. The potter said, "Please don't ask me to part with her. Ask for anything else." After much begging, he finally sold the fox for 200 dinars. The tricksters happily took the fox and, when they were 2 miles from home, said, "Go tell our wives to prepare a fine meal." They released the fox and it disappeared into the forest. When they reached home, there was no meal and no message. They asked their wives, "Didn't the fox come?" The wives said, "No." Now they were burning with rage. "We won't spare that potter today." They rushed back to the potter's house, stormed in, and started beating him. His cries echoed far and wide. They tied him in a sack, sealed it tightly, and set off to throw it into the river. Since they were tired, they placed the sack in the middle of the road and sat under a shady tree to eat. Meanwhile, a shepherd with his flock passed by. Hearing sounds from the sack, the potter realized someone was outside and loudly muttered, "Oh God, I don't want to be a shepherd. Why am I a shepherd? What do I have to do with the caliph's daughter? I'm afraid of her." The shepherd heard this strange talk, came closer, and asked, "Who are you? What are you saying? And what are you doing inside this sack?" The potter replied, "Unfortunately, I'm a shepherd. The caliph's daughter insists on marrying a shepherd. The caliph ordered that I be taken in this sack to the palace to marry her. But I don't want to marry her, the shepherd gasped. Oh, I wish I could go instead of you. The potter seized the moment. Then quickly untie the sack and take my place. The shepherd untied the sack, helped the potter out, and got in himself. The potter tied the sack tightly, took the flock, and walked away. After eating, the tricksters picked up the sack, went to the riverbank, and threw it in. The water carried it away. They said, "At last we've taken our revenge. Let's return to the city." A few miles from the city, they saw someone coming with a herd of goats. It was the potter. They shouted in shock, "Hey, isn't that the same old potter? And where did he get so many goats from? Didn't we just throw him into the river?" The potter smiled. "Yes, you did throw me in the river, but it carried me to a shallow shore. I walked ahead and found a tribe where the chief was distributing goats as charity. I got these as my share." The tricksters asked eagerly, "Really? If we go, will we also get goats?" The potter slyly said, "Of course. The chief is eager to fulfill his vow. He might give you more than me." One of them said, "All right, I'll jump in first. If I'm okay, I won't raise my hands. But if it's dangerous, I'll wave my hands." He bent over, looked at the river, and suddenly jumped. The water carried him away. Panicking, he began flailing his arms. The others mistook the signals as a success, and all jumped in one after the other, only to drown. Some days later, the potter heard that the tricksters had survived, but learned their lesson. They swore never to cheat anyone again. The clever potter had taken his revenge, and now owned many goats. He married his son to his brother's daughter. The old potter, his son, and the new bride lived happily ever after.